Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and this is the trade breakdown for today, the 14th of October. Guys, today is Tuesday. Yesterday was Monday, a bank holiday, and today guys I managed to bank just over $400 in profits today. I'm slowly getting out of drawdown, and I'm going to break down the trades that I took today. So guys, we're gonna be starting from the weekly chart today. That is where I got my bias from. As you can see on the weekly chart, on Friday we had this huge trading, bearish trading. We traded down to this weekly fair value gap on NQ. On ES we overtraded it, but on NQ we were respecting this weekly fair value gap. Let's go to the daily chart now. So on Monday guys, we opened with this huge gap and price traded up, leaving this daily fair value gap here on both NQ and ES. So this was Monday's trading here, and this is Tuesday trading here. So guys, on the daily there was nothing much for me to determine, because we had already traded into this fair value gap when I came to the chart at 9. So on the 4 hour, there is where I got my bullish bias from. On the 4 hour, when I came into the chart doing my pre-market analysis, we were somewhere here into this candle. We had this 4 hour fair value gap, this open 4 hour fair value gap. So guys, after this rejection from NQ, respecting 50% of this weekly fair value gap, I wanted to see price, if we were going to trade, at least if we were going to continue bearish, I wanted to see us trade back into this 4 hour fair value gap before trading bearish. So we were here in my pre-market analysis on the 4 hour time frame. We were here, so I wanted to see a move into this 4 hour fair value gap. Okay, so guys, and one of the next confluence for my bullish price action is that we open with this huge gap to the upside. So let's go to our chart now. What we normally do, let's expand the NQ chart, the NQ micro chart. So guys, what we normally do, only come into the chart between 7 and 8:30 here. We mark out 7 o'clock, we mark out 8:30, and we mark out the lows, the lowest low and the highest high between 7 o'clock and 8:30 a.m. As you can see, at the highs we had relative equal highs at the top. That's the next bullish confluence for bullish price action. So we do that on NQ, and on ES we do the same. For ES, we mark out our lows and our highs between 7 a.m. and 8:30 a.m. Next, what we do, we mark out our both open, our 8:30 open and our 12 o'clock midnight open. We have our 8:30 open here, and we had our 12 midnight open way up here. So, and these open, we mark them out to see if price is in a discount or if it's in a premium. At the open, after we do that for both price, for both assets, for both NQ and ES, we mark out the open and the lows and highs between 7 a.m. and 8:30 a.m. So guys, for this portion of my trade, what gave me this bearish bias for open is that I wanted to see a manipulation. I wanted to see these lows get run before we turn over to the bullish side. Next, confluence for the bearish price action at open is that we had these two open fair value gap here. On ES we had a breaker, we had SMT here on ES making the lower low, NQ making the higher high, and we leave behind two fair value gaps breaking above these highs. And normally, guys, if you have been following my channel for a while, normally if we have two fair value gaps stacked on top of each other breaking above a high with a breaker with a low high, lower low, and breaking above the highs, we normally want to see price trade to the upper fair value gap and leave the bottom one empty, or we do not want to see price get trade to the bottom fair value gap, and that's why I name it a breakaway gap. That's why I label it a breakaway gap. Next confluence here is these lows. Although we had the gap to the top, that is our bullish confluence, but our bearish confluence was these lows, and I wanted to see price trade to this fair value gap before turning bullish. So at open, price, as you could see, price was weak. Price couldn't even trade above the 830 price. So from open, which is this is the open candle here, 930 candle, we trade above a bit and we start displacing down. When I saw that we start displacing down with this bearish displacement here, and we close below here, we had a breaker. We had high, low, higher high, and we break down. So when we close below here, with my confluence that I wanted to see price trade to this fair value gap and to take these lows before turning bearish, when I saw that price close below here, I took my entry here with my stop above this candle here. As you can see, price came up and maybe missed me by a point or a tick or so. I had my stop above this red candle here, and this was a series of bullish candle, which is an order block. So we had my stop above this candle here, right here. Price, as you can see, price had a deep retracement, came into about a point or so of my stop, and then completely rolled over before giving us a next retracement again and started displacing. When price was coming to this low here, I wanted to see displacement through this low, because guys, as you know how the manipulation leg happens at 930. We normally have a quick move to whatever price is going to. So we wanted to see here, price move to here and to here. Price was hesitating a bit. I wish I had the recording, but I didn't press record on this first set of trade. From here I start recording. So guys, I will put the recording at the end of the video. If you want to see the recording for these trades, you can go to the ending of the video or watch through this whole video. So when we came down here to take out these lows, price stalled a bit, pulled back, stalled a bit. I ended up taking out two of my free contracts, and I placed my stop to break even. After I took took out the two contract, price started dumping. And as I tell you guys, I wanted to see price straight to the upper portion of this upper fair value gap, and not straight to this breakaway gap right here. So when price came down and touched this fair value gap, I had my TP set here. I closed it out. I closed out my trade. This was a 1 to 2.9 risk to reward ratio. 1 to 4.9, risk to reward ratio. As you could see, price overshoot these fair value gap, took out these lows, invalidated my SMT here. So guys, I was moved to the sideline. If I saw any bullish price action was happening here and the displacement to the top, I would have looked for a long here, right around that area, to continue to take out the marked out highs between 7 a.m. and 8:30 a.m., which was a high probability high because they were relative equal highs at the top. So price ended up trading down, traded up, and then traded down. At this time, guys, we were on ES, I think. Let's check. Yes, on ES, we were inside the weekly fair value gap. And I didn't see that, guys, because as you can see, I didn't have it marked out on my NQ chart. And in this double chart here, after I marked it out, later on I marked it out when I was doing my review of my trade. I marked out this weekly fair value gap here, but I didn't have it marked out. So guys, on this weekly, as you could see, price was respecting, even on the 1 minute, price was respecting this weekly fair value gap. We couldn't get a candle to close outside this weekly fair value gap on the 1 minute. So that is telling you that price was ready to turn bullish. Price was bullish because we couldn't get a 1 minute candle to close outside this weekly fair value gap. That is a telltale sign that price is bullish. So guys, from here, NQ looked like the stronger pair to me because of the SMT we had here, the SMT we had on price here, and as you could see, price overshoot the weekly fair value gap on ES, and we didn't on NQ. NQ was respecting the weekly fair value gap on Friday. So after we trade, we were respecting the weekly fair value gap on ES. Price started to turn bullish. So price, I wanted to see price, when price started displacing up, I wanted to see price close above this fair value gap, which we didn't. So okay, I waited some more with this, inverted this fair value gap and end up respecting this fair value gap, but this was the Reaper fair value gap. I wanted to see price close above here. Probably if price had closed above here, my longs would have been here on the retest. Here on the 1 minute, we had a breaker. We had a low, high, lower low. Price breaking with displacement above here. That is when I knew that price was now bullish. At this moment in time, I was about 200 and I think 280 plus dollars in profit. So price displace here above here. I was looking for price to come back into this fair value gap here for my entry. I have the recording from that. You could see me placing a limit right here when price shoots above here. You could see me placing a limit, a buy limit here for price to go take out these highs. Price hesitated. Price end up trading to this fair value gap and respecting this fair value gap. As you can see, the body's not closing below this fair value gap or even below 50% of this fair value gap. But I didn't enter on this candle here either or on this fair value gap because my stops would have been below here and that would have been too big for my stops. That would have been over 100 point stop if I had taken my trade here. So I didn't take that trade. Although I know price was moving bullish, I didn't take that trade. So guys, price end up, I was watching to see if price would close above this fair value gap here, which was the first presented fair value gap. The first fair value gap after 9:30. This was it. And price displace above, and I have the recording again, guys. You can see the recording for this trade. I had price end up displacing above the first presented fair value gap. When it came down to retest, I end up taking one contract with my stops below these lows here, with this other block here and this other block here protecting my stop, along with this fair value gap protecting my stop. So I placed my stop here. Price went in my flavor, then came back down to test this other block here and this fair value gap, and started displacing up. At this moment in time on NQ, we were taking the highs, the equal highs that I marked out here, these highs. We were taking these highs, and I didn't want price to make an SMT at these highs and reversed. So when NQ was taking its highs here, I placed my stop. Price was around this area. NQ was taking the, on this candle, NQ was taking the highs. On ES was taking the highs on this candle of NQ. So I put my stop to break even. I placed my stop to break even, which was about there. I have the recording, so guys, you can watch this recording. I think my stops was around that area here. Price came down, took me out, and immediately started trading higher to take out the relative equal highs. I didn't enter again, guys, because I didn't want to give back my profit. My fear was that price was going to come back to this fair value gap here, or at least to discount of the range before moving higher. So that's why I didn't want to enter and then price would reverse on me, because I would never put my stop right below here. That would be too much, too big. So I didn't want to re-enter because of that reason. So the next trade I took was on ES, and I will be breaking down this trade that I took on ES. It was based on the 15 minutes time frame. Let's go on both the 15-minute time frame on ES and NQ. So this is NQ and this is ES. Let's take out, get rid of some of this stuff. So when price broke above these highs, price gave us a next breaker on the 15-minute time frame. So we had low, high, lower low, and we broke above the highs with displacement. We had one fair value gap here. Let's take out this, clear up the chart a bit. We had one fair value gap here, one fair value gap here. That's two fair value gaps stuck on top of each other. We want to see price straight to the first fair value gap and leave this fair value gap open, which we will label as a breakaway fair value gap. Same thing on ES. We had low, high, lower low, price breaking above with two fair value gaps stuck on top of each other. You want to see price straight to the first fair value gap and leave the other one open, and that would be a breakaway gap. So let's go back to the 1 minute time frame for the trade. So guys, so I was waiting for price to come back into the 15-minute fair value gap, the first fair value gap, which was this fair value gap on the 15-minute time frame. This fair value gap here on NQ. So when price retraced here, I was looking for a deeper retracement, but I saw price making SMT, and this is a high probability confluence when you make SMT in the fair value gaps, especially the higher time frame fair value gaps, and followed by displacement. So we had SMT with NQ making a lower low and ES making a higher high. After we made the higher high, NQ took out this low, ES making the higher high. We started displacing up. I could have taken the trade when price closed above this fair value gap here, inverted it, but I wanted more confirmation. I want to be sure, because I didn't want to give away or give back in my profit that I made in the morning. So price ended up coming back, retracing, and then price came back again, closed above this fair value gap. When I saw price close above this fair value gap and breaking above this high, I took 4 contracts. I took 4 contracts. 4 contracts on ES with my stops here above these lows, above the low of the SMT here, and I was targeting the midnight open. That is our draw on price. The midnight open price started displacing in my favor. When we reached to yesterday's midnight open, I took out 2 contracts and I left 2 contracts. So I closed 2 contracts and then I placed my stop to break even. Well guys, I made a mistake when I was moving my stops. No, I was moving my take profit. I end up taking the trail stop that I trailed in profit and I end up dragging it up, which immediately closed my trade. And that was kind of luck because price gave a deep retracement, which it would have taken me out at break even. So all in all, it played out in my favor for me taking the trailed stop and dragging it to my profit instead of dragging the price that I took the trade on and dragging it up for my take profit. So guys, all in all, I had a grand total of $407 profit for the day. This is my largest profit day, and I hope this is a turnaround for me. I hope this is my turnaround, that I will come out in drawdown and receive my first payout. So guys, if you find this video was educational, if you find this video insightful, if you learned anything today on this video, please drop a like, comment, subscribe, share. Peace out.